Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome back to the Nerd Fan Club, the NFC, where we're fans of the fan. And of course, we have some of our friends here. We're talking Star Wars today. May 4th is coming up soon. Currently, it's April right now. And of course, there's always big things going on Star Wars related on May 4th. We got a couple of Star Wars TV series that have just been announced, some in production, some coming in a little bit later next year. But we just figured since all these titles have dropped and we have bits and pieces of information about them, we might as well just talk about it, nerd out a little bit, talk a little about Star Wars and what we want to see. So I'm gonna toss it over to Ian really quick, homeboy with the Boba Fett um, stormtrooper background looking like, and yeah, we'll jump into this.
Hey guys, it's great to be with you guys today. Super excited to start talking about some of these Star Wars projects that will be coming up in the near future. So we have 5 of them we're going to talk about today. I want to introduce really quick our panel we have here. So obviously you guys know me, I'm Ian Hauser. I do a lot of the writing and stuff for Cosplay for Christ, and I am a huge Star Wars nerd. I also draw as a part-time thing. And so here is a custom Boba Fett thing I've done on a whiteboard. This is now just a background. Next to me, or my partner in crime, is Brent Aspires, the guy who did our intro for us. Yeah, you want to give yourself a quick little intro?
Well, you guys probably know me already, but I'm Brent, running with my boys at Cosplay for Christ. Hanging out with these fine gentlemen Saturday afternoon, talking some Star Wars stuff. Pretty much, we're just a group of nerds, group of people who love all things nerd culture, whether it's anime, video games, TV shows, Marvel, DC comic books, Star Wars. And being able to talk about those things and also about Jesus, being able to talk about both of those things at the same time. So it's just really a blessing. I'm really grateful to be able to do that. So yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Awesome. And then with me also is Joe Tonis. Joe,
My boy, right
Yo,
there.
what up?
Oh, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What up, boys? My name is Joe Tonis, or you can follow me on my @YoJoe70. Yeah, I'm just a gamer, man. I love Star Wars, anything nerdy. I'm a big sports fan. But yeah, Star Wars has my heart. I've loved it as a kid, and long live the Sith. Just gonna leave that out there.
Loving the background.
Hey. And finally, last but not least, we have our friend John De Leon, who will be joining us today. John, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, my bad.
There
What's
you
up?
are.
I'm John. I'm just here, generic Star Wars fan. Overly excited for this. Not much else to say.
Thank you guys for joining us today, and all you guys on Facebook and those that will be watching this in the future on YouTube. We love and appreciate you guys. So where do we want to start? So the following week will be May 4th. This will probably go up on YouTube on May 4th. So happy May 4th. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
And what else is coming out on May 4th is Star Wars The Bad Batch. Now, I'm personally a huge Clone Wars fan. I know Joe is a huge Clone Wars fan. And kind of getting this continuation of a season 8 of Clone Wars. We'll talk a little bit less about Bad Batch because we know a lot of details of what characters, planets we're going to see. Just a quick rundown. If you guys do not know who the Bad Batch are, they are a group of clone troopers that have been genetically modified to be superior soldiers. They're a 4-man commando squad led by Hunter, who has the ability to sense electromagnetic waves. Now I got to remember all their names. Crosshair, who is a excellent sniper. I'm going to mix them up with the Republic Commandos. I know it. Tech, which is the tech guy. And I cannot believe I forgot Wrecker, who is their powerhouse, right? They are a not your standard group of clone troopers. And we so far know in the series we're going to see Tarkin along with Captain Rex, the possibly first female clone trooper of Jango Fett. I believe her name is Omega.
Oh, really? Oh, snap.
And my brain is drawing a blank. I know there was another character that got shown.
Echo.
Echo. Sorry, I forgot Echo. Echo, who is part of the squad.
SMH.
Shaking my head. Oh, not a true fan. Not a true fan.
Ooh.
Echo, who is a half droid cybernetic clone. I'm sorry for forgetting Echo. And who I was thinking of was Saw Gerrera. Seemingly starting the first parts of the rebellion. So with this in mind, what are some of the things you guys would like to see from the series? This beginning of the Empire, really.
Anybody
I want to see what happened. Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you.
I was just gonna say, what I want to see is what happened to the clones after when the Empire was formed, because I've always wondered that. It's like, all right, the clones were replaced with these lame human conscripts, stormtroopers, not as impressive, kind of sucky. But where are the clones? Where's Commander Cody? Where's who's the guy that shot fives? The Coruscant guard. Yeah. Like, where are they at? What are they doing? That was always on my mind. I was hoping, when Rebels Season 2 came out, that when they showed Rex, like, okay, maybe now they'll give us some answers, and not really. So hopefully now they'll say something,
Yeah.
So that's
I think
pretty much my main thing.
getting to see what happens to the clone troopers, how they get phased out. Especially Commander Cody, because he is a character we have not gotten anything from post-Empire in the current canon continuity. I know someone's going to correct me and say, no, he became a stormtrooper trainer. That is Legends. But honestly, I think what we could see even is the Camino Rebellion. I hope that returns to canon. It's something from Legends I really liked, where the Kaminoans kind of got fed up with the Empire and tried to make their own clone army to fight the Empire. I think that could be a really interesting place to take our characters, especially if we have clones fighting clones, like the original Camino Uprising with the 501st coming in to suppress the Kaminoan Uprising. I want to see where Commander Cody is, right? I really hope we get to see an arc between this and another show, the Kenobi series. We'll talk about the Kenobi series coming up, but getting to see Cody maybe have to struggle with what he did. Is he still a loyal soldier, or is he a little more like Rex now? Does he die? Does he live? Did he become strictly Imperial? Does he learn to rebel? I think there's a lot you can do with that character, and the clones are really interesting. Yeah. Joe, you wanted to add something.
All right. My thing is, I want to see these dudes show up to, like, all right, after the Clone Wars and stuff, the empires start to rise, and they kind of like, hey, why do we need this Bad Batch? Who are they? So, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I thought the trailer of them in the training facility being like, oh, like retesting them, like retesting skills. And, you have a guy like Wrecker saying, oh, that's the best you got. And them saying, nah, dude, like, this isn't right. This is not what we were do. Like, we don't follow your orders. Sure, you give us like the main objective, but we're gonna do it our way. And I was just like, dang, bro, like seeing them rebel and like do all that, I think for me would be great for a storyline. But then you have the Empire, it's just like, nah, dude, like you follow orders, like you do what we say or you're out. And when they say out, like pretty much executed. And just like, dang, dude, like, where's the show gonna go? And I'm so excited for it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's one big order we're all wondering if the Bad Batch followed. And that is, of course, Order 66. And I think it'd be interesting to know whether or not the Bad Batch has inhibitor chips, or if their modified psyche kept them from executing a Jedi, or if they did. Either way they take that, whether they kill a Jedi or they choose to protect a Jedi or whatever they do with that, can be a really interesting story. But getting to see that perspective of like, these are rogues now. These are not soldiers of the Republic anymore. So how do they adapt to this new world? I think, yeah, like you said, getting to see that like little group against this big enemy is going to be really cool. Brent, you have anything you want to add on for the Bad Batch series?
Not that I can think of, because you guys pretty much covered everything that I would want to see.
Or to even add to the fact that Echo somehow knew, like, he knew about the chips when he spent his time in captivity, that he's like, hey, bro, we need to take these out. And then in Order 66, they don't do nothing but shoot other clones. Boom. Oh no, there's so much for it, man.
Whatever we get, I think if we get an Order 66 scene, it will be amazing. I don't know if it will be Clone Wars Season 7's Order 66 scene amazing, because I'm sorry, that scene, like, breaks
They're
your
not
heart.
going to top that.
Yeah. That's it. And I don't think they should try to top it. They don't have the emotional stakes, but I think they should give us a really interesting thing to think about with that. There was a note. Real quick, outside of the characters listed, you kind of talked about Cody and Fox, John, but is there any other characters you guys think would be interesting to see in the series? I noticed I did miss a character earlier, and if someone put in the comments, they're right. I did miss Fennec Shand from The Mandalorian will also be in the series. So we do have quite a bit of characters, but any other characters you guys would like to see in the Bad Batch series?
Which one is that one? The one that they mentioned in The Mandalorian?
Fennec Shand is she's the one that teams up with Boba Fett. She has the sniper rifle.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot the actress's name, but I know she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I would like to see Boba, bro. Just
Boba.
as a teenager, like, right? Because he's a teenager by then.
Yeah.
As
Teenage
Order
Rebel would
66.
be dope.
And it's more of him like finding his dad's armor and stuff, like before he went to Jabba the Hutt and all that, right? So I think that'll be a great thing. Obviously, I'm a huge Mandalorian person. Like, I love the whole arc of Siege of Mandalore. So it might be overplayed by now, but I would think what's it called? Death Watch would be awesome. But then having like that whole like Maul, like after effects, you know, of the whole siege.
My thing with Death Watch, they were cool. Don't get me wrong. They were cool, but I don't know, man. I felt like they were kind of like how would you put it? A wannabe terrorist group. I didn't think they were as cool, bro. I'm gonna be real. Not until the end, till they made them epic. Going back to Boba Fett, though, I wanna see an episode where like Boba Fett, he's got the armor, he thinks he's all cool, but he's so cocky, but like he's still inexperienced, so he gets his butt kicked, something like that, and like maybe he's got to work with the Bad Batch, like still work on that character development where he's still like this scrappy, like whiny dude, even though he's got like the full armor, he looks cool, but like he still got that attitude. Like he needs to go through something to kind of transform him into kind of like the dude he was in the trilogy is kind of what I want to see.
That'd be cool. I know they did some arcs like that in the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
The one where he teams up with Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, that one was cool.
Or like when he tried to kill like Mace Windu and stuff, and then he was hesitant on killing a clone because he knew that they were a somewhat of his brothers, but they were clones, and even though he doesn't associate himself with that. It's like, oh, you're the other side, like if they meet up. Sheesh, dude, I can't even like, because I think that Hunter will put him in his place.
Yeah.
I think too, with Boba Fett, that also brings back the Camino Revolution, and Boba Fett was one of the ones that suppressed that. Right, he's one of the ones that came in and was hired by the Empire to stop the Kaminoan Revolution. So if we see that in the series, we could see Boba Fett come back as like an antagonist. I'm gonna switch over to the next point in a sec. There's one more character I want to say as a possibility, and that is Quinlan Vos. I've heard people talk about Quinlan Vos back in the series, especially if we see the Bad Batch kind of go into the underworld. They have kind of hinted that he survived Order 66, but if we get to see him, working in the underworld, even if it's just a cameo, right? That little bit of a tease, I think it'd be interesting to see that character in a little bit in the series. But as we were talking about Boba Fett, I think the next series on our list has to be the one coming out in December, and that is the Book of Boba Fett. So this one we have a lot less details on. I think the only thing that's been confirmed as a series so far, besides the fact that obviously Boba Fett and Fennec Shan are going to be part of it, is that Din Djarin will pop up at some point for a cameo. It doesn't seem like he'll be a recurring character, but there are hints that he'll be cameoing in the Book of Boba Fett. So what do you guys want to see from the Book of Boba Fett? What are some of the stuff you guys like to see?
Well, as you said earlier, with Ian, that Din Djarin, cameo. Just, what's he gonna be about? Is he just gonna be one episode? What's he gonna do? What's that whole interaction going to be? Also, really quick for Fennec, I just remembered her name. It's Ming. Oh gosh, now it just escaped me. Gosh, I have to look it up now. Oh, it's Ming Na Wen. So, yeah, she was the one who played Fennec. Of course, she'll be in the Book of Boba Fett as well. But yeah, I mean, outside of that little trailer at the end of the Mandalorian series, not really much to go off of. But who knows what will happen?
No, rock paper scissors. Okay, I'll just go,
Go ahead,
dude.
Jeff.
Oh my goodness! So when he took out the hut, bro, like,
Bro,
I think it's gonna turn over the whole underground, like, what is it called? The like pretty much the mob scene, man. Like,
Underworld.
I think, yeah, the whole underworld. Like,
Underworld,
he's
right.
gonna take everybody out and said, no, if you don't bend your knee to me, like, I'm taking over now. Like, hey, I'm tired of being the bottom dog that does your work. It's time that you pay homage to me. You pay me respect. And I think that when he went in there, guns a-blazing, I was like, oh my gosh, like, homie is ready to kill everybody.
Yeah, great scene.
Even with the Mando, sorry, I don't call him, what's his real name again? I'm sorry. Mando's real name?
Din Djarin?
I don't care what his name. His name's Mando.
What's his name? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what. No, I think for that, it's gonna be towards the end, saying, "Hey, I need your help." It could be with Baby Yoda. I doubt it. But I think it's more of the fact that Mando's gonna ask him for help with the Night Watch, saying, sorry, not Night Watch, Death Watch, about the Darksaber. Like, hey, bro, I don't know what to do with this, man. Like, here, I know you're better than me. Take it. Like, take this cup away from me. He's like, nah, dude, like, you need to do it
Can't.
yourself. And I'm
Can't,
just
yeah.
like, because that was what the ending scene was. Amanda was, hey, here's the sword. And he's like, no, I can't take it from you now. I had to earn it. And that girl has an army. And he's gonna look, you're the best dude I know. Help me, help you, help me. If that makes sense, you know? It's like,
Right. Right.
yeah, I don't know. That
Yeah, it's like,
that
bro, I
whole
got your armor
Mando,
back. Bail me
yeah.
out of the situation.
Mhm. Or how do I get you better gear in order to help me? Or what do you want? What can I do to help you in the end game? Like, what's your end game, man?
Yeah.
Because at the
And
end of
I
the day,
think,
like, Mando is just a man trying to survive, and he doesn't want the leadership. I feel he just wants to have that steady life, and he's gonna go to Boba like, hey, bro, you already took out the whole underworld. You took out the Hutts. Do you want to be king? Like, I will give you the sword. So I don't know. I think that it's gonna be great either way. Super excited, dude. Yeah.
yeah, I think actually, spoilers for the list. I do not have the Mandalorian on here right now, because there's not been a full announcement about when the next season of Mandalorian is coming. But I do
thought it
think
was the fall of 2022. No.
is it? I put 5 series, but for the Mandalorian, I definitely think we're going to get the Mandalorian reformation as they come back together as a people. And I think you can't have that without conflict. So I definitely can see sides being drawn, and Boba being on Din Djarin's side over Bo-Katan's.
Agreed.
I think that will get hinted at in the Book of Boba Fett, but it's going to be interesting to see Boba going through and kind of doing what Darth Maul did. If you guys have seen the Clone Wars, Darth Maul kind of went through and formed the underworld together into one united faction. I'm wondering how they're going to twist that with Boba Fett, so it's, and take this the right way, interesting, because we've seen it before in Star Wars. So how are they going to make it different, more unique? I know in Clone Wars it was 1 episode or 2 episodes, right? Whereas this will be a whole probably 8-9 episode series. So getting to see that different could be really interesting, but it also could be the same. And I hope it's not. So I hope we get some very different story with this. John, what would you like to see from the Book of Boba Fett series?
Yeah, I was gonna make that point. It reminds me of that episode 5 story arc where was it Darth Maul and his brother? They like take over the Black Sun. They redo the whole criminal syndicate, whatever. That would be cool for a bit, but I kind of feel like that would get played out after a while, because then it's like, okay, Boba Fett, he's up to his usual tricks. What is he going to do now? So I feel like they got to go somewhere with it. I feel like it's got to build towards something, some kind of story arc. Would be cool if they took a little bit of inspiration from Legends, like you were saying. Maybe all these Mandalorian clans come back, do something epic, you know. Boba Fett becomes like freaking Mandalore the Ultimate or something. I don't know. I'm kind of like on speculation mode right now because I know literally nothing about the upcoming Boba Fett show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I would say before we get into what like planets and characters we'd like to see, and this will kind of lead into it. One of the things I'd really like to see is young Boba Fett, right? And I know we talked about that a little bit with the Bad Batch, but I would actually like to see it in this series. And the coolest thing with Boba Fett is you can throw a body double in the armor, right? Get a voice to do him close enough to Demora Morrison to get that well done. But I want to see his interactions with characters like Aura Singh or Cad Bane or who's the guy who taught Solo, the Beckett, right?
Mm.
I would love to see the mission where Beckett kills Aura Singh, because Aura Singh was a really important person to Boba Fett at a young age. She was kind of his like teacher and role model after Jango dies. So, getting to see a young Boba Fett, along with our old withered, battle-hardened Boba Fett, getting to see these two sides of the same character, kind of like if you guys have seen the show Arrow, you get to see Island Oliver Queen, and you get to see Green Arrow Oliver Queen, and you get these two connected but different stories. Because Boba Fett's constantly wearing the armor, this is pretty easy to pull off, I think, for Disney, right? I mean, the guy who originally wore the armor in Empire Strikes Back looks nothing like Tamora Morrison, but they're the same character. I would love to see that, see him kind of get this vendetta, this anger, this rage, dealing with some of the stuff like the fact he never got vengeance. And with how that like led him to the anger where the first time he sees a lightsaber after all these years, he gets so blinded, he gets wrecked in Return of the Jedi, right? Like, just going through that idea of like a young Boba Fett, not Clone Wars young anymore. I'm talking post Revenge of the Sith. But I would also like, and add this last point, for them to fully canonize his duel with Cad Bane, and have that be kind of the end of the young Boba Fett arc, where he gets the infamous dent in a duel with Cad Bane.
Yes.
Or, well, all that and more. I think that would be even greater in all of this. They give him the revenge that he deserves, and they introduce at the end of it, chat, if you're watching now, please stay in your seats. Mace Windu still alive. Oh my goodness, dude, how amazing would that be? Like, dude, like, he goes through all this. They show the past adventures of him not getting what he always tried to do. Even in Clone Wars, he tried to, he failed. And to hear that Sidious killed him, dang, man, like, I never got my chance, and he finally gets the chance to do it. I think that would be a great ending to it, because, you know, I still believe that Mace is still alive out there somewhere. You know, I think that he could come back with the Samuel L. Jackson, some compensation to get him in there. I'm praying, please, Disney, please. So yeah, man, that's my hope, man, that he comes back at the end of it and it's like, surprise.
That sounds cool. That like for real, that sounds cool. Like, I want Mace to come back because, you know, Mace is a super powerful, wise Jedi, you know, over 9,000 power level, and then freaking Palpatine takes him out in a second. I was like, really? Like,
I'm so glad
just like that. Just like that, a little zap of lightning.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Sidious too, so I'm like, dang, bro, like,
But
said power, my God, like, heck yeah. But then, yes, I did have a soft spot for Mace Windu, seeing him as a kid in the original Clone Wars, the 2003 edition. They just added it on the Disney Plus. So I'm like, dude, like, this fool is fighting thousands and thousands of droids just with bare hands. Then he uses saber, you know? He not force choked, but like crushed the rib cage of Grievous. So that's how he was like started coughing and Revenge of the Sith. And I'm like, oh, like, that's awesome, you know? But to see that happen, I was so sad. I agree with you 100%. But
yeah, back
man,
when the characters are more OP, I don't really see it happening. I think what would be cool would be like he hears rumors of like Mace Windu's alive, And then like that makes him trip out. I was like, wait, Mace Windu's alive, like, oh, now's my chance. He's all freaking out, he's all angry, he wants revenge. But I think it would be cool, like, if they kind of like subvert it, and it's more like they're rumors, but like somebody use it to try to manipulate Boba Fett, and then Boba Fett finds out like, oh no, like this is BS, like Mace Windu didn't come back, you just concocted this. I don't know. I think that would be cool too. Some kind of like psychological thing.
Okay.
Trying to manipulate Boba Fett, and then Boba Fett, I don't know, kills him, I guess. Something like that. Typical Boba Fett faction.
Kills the fake Mace Windu and all that.
Yeah.
I could see that being interesting for either the young or old Boba Fett, but I'd prefer to see the young Boba Fett deal with that. And leading in that anger, and like even ending with that line of like, if I ever see a Jedi again, nothing will stop me from killing them. Right? I think another flashback we should be getting in this series is, how did he escape the Sarlacc pit?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be small, but I think it'd be enough to give it a little bit of context.
Guts, bro. His body went through the whole system and he got moved out. I don't know, man. Like I've heard so many things about it, that he cut a hole through it. He used jetpack to fly out. I'm like, wait. Is this canon or is this like ideas, man? Like, is this in the legends? Because I don't remember ever hearing about this. And then when we first saw him in Mandalorian, I was like, oh, how? Like, it's unsaid. So I think he's gonna be like, not a Chuck Norris type of deal, like, oh yeah, the snake bit me. 3 days later, the snake died. Kind of like that. Like, it's like a Chuck Norris thing, like, yeah, he ate me, but a couple of days later he died.
Yeah,
something like that,
I would even love to see like him in the Sarlacc pit, like wrestling with the realities of what he's done, and like his blindness, his vengeance, right? Because the Boba Fett that comes out of the Sarlacc pit, the one we saw in Mandalorian, seems like a completely different character than the one that went in, right?
That uses rage.
Yeah, like almost like he realizes how blind his rage had made him, right? Because he's a lot more like understanding in Mandalorian, trying to help Din Djarin and that kind of stuff. So let's get into a couple characters we'd like to see in the series. I already brought up Cad Bane, Beckett, and Aura Singh as possible flashbacks. We talked a little bit about Mace Windu. But who are some other characters we may like to see in the series? Brent, you've been quiet for a little bit.
Sorry, I was looking over some mail. As far as characters go, man, honestly, I'm not even sure. Yeah, I don't really have any input on this one. Really, I'm just more excited to just, see a really good series. As far as characters go, as far as plot twists, Easter eggs, or anything like that, go ahead and surprise me. I'm perfectly fine with being surprised. So, yeah.
I don't know if this would count as like a character coming back, but what I would really like to see is if Boba Fett tries to like explore the deal with his dad. It's like, okay, who was Jango Fett? I know they kind of did that a little bit in the Mandalorian show, but it would be cooler if they kind of delved deeper into that, kind of like expanded on Jango Fett's character, because we still don't know too much about Jango Fett, like, why he did what he did, like what motivated him. I know like in the EU they kind of did that, and then they played with it a little bit at the end of the Clone Wars, but I want to see an expansion of that. I want to see like Boba Fett trying to like learn more about who his father was, and maybe there'll be some interesting like lore connections there.
So Jango Fett as a character kind of getting a little more spotlight, and
yeah,
kind of like
an expansion of his character.
Like,
it'd be interesting to see. Oh,
sorry, like him going on trips. What Ian was saying, right? About like flashbacks of the younger version of him, and that he goes with his dad. Kind of like that, John. Or no?
Yeah, something like that, but maybe like Maybe he meets somebody that like knew Jango Fett in the past. It's like, oh hey, like before your father like was commissioned to make the clone army, he used to be involved with this. He used to be involved with some kind of like, I don't know, spooky thing going on, maybe some secret group or some secret mission he never got to finish. I don't know, something more like that, where like he finds out like Jango Fett was involved in something secretive and he kind of tries to like investigate that.
It'd be
That'd be
interesting
dope.
considering the symbol on Boba Fett's chest. You can't really see it in the picture behind me, but was Jaster Muriel and the True Mandalorians, which is the group that adopted Jango Fett. Maybe seeing Boba try and reform that group, and yeah, that's
That
one
would
of the
be cool too.
in the EU he tries to do as a tribute to his father. So getting to see more with that, or even Jango Fett leaving behind hollow messages for Boba. That would be, I could see that being very heartfelt.
Within the ship, dude.
Yeah. Either the ship or the armor, right? Both coming from Jango himself. Getting to see that a little more as he connects with his dad. That could be a really interesting narrative. Joe, do you have a character you'd like to see in the series?
It's hard, man, because like trying to think like of all these like bounty hunters and stuff. I'm like, dude, like there's so many, and there's so many that it's still like unknown type of deal. But I would like to see the armorer. You know, because she was still alive, right? In Mando. So I think it's more like he sees her to not upgrade his stuff, but as when he was a kid, redefining his armor, you know, that change from Boba to Jango. And it's just like, dude, like, I mean, I'm not really sure how that really happened. I forgot. But it's just like, dude, like him seeking out help, and he goes to underground like after them because they went to hiding and stuff. I'm like, dude, like, what if he went to them? Or even after the fact, trying to get those connections, you know, as an adult, trying to figure out like, oh, my old crew or my dad's old crew. Like, what do you know? So yeah, I think armor would be great for that.
I think that'd be interesting to considering we know they're a part of Death Watch, or were a part of Death Watch. They're children of the Watch. So we know to a point the Mandalorian Civil War was between the true Mandalorians and Death Watch in Legends. So it may be interesting of either in the Mandalorian as we deal with the reformation of Mandalore, or in Book of Boba Fett, like as he finds these stuff out about his dad, can he work with Death Watch people, whether that's Bo-Katan or the Armorer, right? Now we have so many factions of Mandalorian that like can kind of going into Mandalorian season 3 a little bit, can Din Djarin bring them together? And I think my suggestion for a character may be an interesting way to touch on that, because the character I would suggest, and this is going to sound weird, but bear with me, Dirge. So Dirge is a character from Legends who is now becoming canon with the Dr. Aphra comics, and is going to be part of an event called the War of the Bounty Hunters, which is going to center around Boba Fett trying to keep his hands on Han Solo's carbonite body so he can get the money. Now, Dirge hates Mandalorians because they buried him alive when he tried to fight them, right, for 60 years. He has such a deep hatred of Mandalorians, he joins the separatist movement just to kill clone troopers that look like Jango. Right? That's how petty this dude is. So I'm guessing in the War of Bounty Hunters, obviously we know Boba Fett's not going to die, right? And he's probably going to come up against Dirge. So I'm hoping we get to see Dirge come back in this series for round 2 against Boba Fett. And Dirge is OP. He's kind of like a hunter from Halo on steroids. So I would love to see the division of the Mandalorian tribes have to be united in this fight against this man who just wants to exterminate the last of the Mandalorians. And maybe that's what helps bridge the gap between characters like the Armorer or Bo-Katan, or even that could be the Din Djarin cameo, fighting against Dirge.
Dude, I don't know why when you said that right now, I was thinking of Endgame when Wanda goes to Thanos. You took everything from me, and like Dirge saying that to Django, he's like, bro, I don't even know who you are, man. Like, the heck, like, hey, bro, hey, someone get this dude. I don't even know who this guy is. And oh my gosh, yes, that dude is.
If they oh no, go ahead.
No, it's you.
It's you, bro.
And I was gonna say, if they bring back Dirge, they have to have some kind of line. I'm just saying they gotta have some kind of line that like vindicates the Clone Wars. They need to make some kind of comment like, oh, like didn't Obi-Wan kill you or something like that?
Well,
some kind of little throwback to the.
Didn't they at the end of it? All
when?
the pieces started like coming together, like in one of the drains.
Yeah.
And it started like, because that was the thing, right? He was a tentacle guy or whatever, and then all of it like was reconnecting. And at the end of the bubble bursting, you can see the juices come together slowly but surely, man. So I think that's what they. Yes, I do agree. They need to show that. So.
Yeah, and he survives in Legends and is eventually killed off by Anakin, who sends him into a sun because he regenerates from everything. But I think they're bringing him back in canon around the time between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? So that's not that far off from where the Mandalorian is. It's like 7 years. So I think he would still, if Boba Fett beats the tar out of him or defeats him in the War of Bounty Hunters, I think he's going to hold that grudge against Boba Fett. And I think we can see that rematch happen. They'll have to mention it because not everyone reads the comics. They'll have to like hint towards it in a lot of ways. But yeah, I think that'd be really interesting. I'd also like to see Bosk. No big story details with him, but he's known Boba Fett for a long time. So, and he's probably my favorite of the bounty hunters that's not Boba Fett. So, yeah. So we have 3 series left. Which one would you guys rather start with? Ahsoka Tano, Kenobi, or Andor?
Let's hear from Brent.
Sure. I guess I'm picking the next one. Well, the one series that I'm super excited about. So Andor, I know the least about. Of course, you know, it's pretty much based off of Rogue One, but the one that I was super excited about when they announced it, Homeboy is coming back to reprise his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of course, it's Ewan McGregor. So Obi-Wan is the one series that I am super excited for. Of course, no release date yet. I've heard that they started doing production in April. So it might be a matter of time until more information comes out, or you know, we get a release date sometime next year. But that is the one series that I'm super excited for. For those of you guys who were with us when we talked about Star Wars about 2 months ago, Star Wars video games, I talked about my love for Qui-Gon Jinn. And a lot of what I know of Obi-Wan comes from his relationship with Qui-Gon Jinn. That was the one character that I followed extensively, you know, growing up. It was the first, believe it or not, the first Star Wars movie that I watched in theaters was The Phantom Menace. The original 3, I watched at my cousin's house. But in terms of watching it in theaters, it was Phantom Menace, Episode 1, introduction to Qui-Gon, and of course, introduction into Obi-Wan for me. So I'm super excited. I want to see Qui-Gon come back. I want to see Liam Neeson reprise that role. No idea if it's going to happen or not. And of course, one thing that I do know is that Obi-Wan the events of that TV series happens after, what was it? Return of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith? Third one, right? Yeah. After third movie. So yeah, excited about that one. It's one I definitely want to watch. So yeah, that's all I got for that.
Hello there.
That's what
Sorry,
they
I
better
have
do
to
that.
admit,
At least once they better do it. Like
Obligatory.
in his introduction. You know they're gonna have that. I definitely agree with you. I want to see Qui-Gon Jinn in the series. I definitely want to see Liam Neeson reprise the role. I think from what I've heard, Liam Neeson wants to reprise the role. He seems to love playing Qui-Gon Jinn and has talked about returning for a couple. So hopefully we get to see him. We also know Hayden Christensen will be coming back as some form of Darth Vader, whether that's in the suit or in a flashback. But we do know that he will be coming back and he will be fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi at some point. They confirmed it's the rematch of the century. So, yeah, we know that Hayden Christensen's going to be in it. We know Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen are going to be in it. But aside from that, I think those are the major details we know so far. So what are some of the stuff you guys would like to see in the series?
I think the Owen Lars because it's gonna be based like a young Luke, right? It's not like it's in between the Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, correct? Yeah? No? Oh, okay. Anyway, so I think you get to see like the overshadowing of or protective of Luke, of him with talking to Lars about him, and it's just like, dang, dude, like I love the actor of him. He's such like in other movies he's been in. What's his name? Joel Egerton. So super great. But I just saw that O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's son's gonna be in it. And I am excited because it's just like, dude, like their lineup right now looks really good. And I don't know who they're gonna be, like some of them are from Game of Thrones, another one's a comedian, another one's from Fast and Furious, Han, if you guys remember. I'm like, dang, dude, like their lineup looks amazing. Can you guys pull it off, please? Like, I don't know. With Disney, like other shows have been great, but had terrible finishers. Sorry, Disney. But I'm just like, dude, like, can you guys please like not hype up my childhood, but make it better? Even as an adult, I'm like, just watching these Star Wars shows, and I'm like, damn, like, I wish I had this in my childhood, and seeing it now is like, dang, dude, like Bo was back. Obi-Wan, like the whole, like, what was he doing? Was he just staying in a hut meditating, or was he growing even more in the Force, connecting with Qui-Gon, connecting with other Jedis in the past, going back to the like first Jedis, like how far can you like reach back, So yeah, that's my little take on it. John?
I like that idea you brought up of going back and kind of learning from older Jedi, maybe Jedi who had discovered the ability to transcend their spirit into the Force, like Qui-Gon did, long before Obi-Wan and Yoda did. I think we could see some interesting characters in that. I don't know if we'll see any returning characters like Revan. I can't imagine they'd put Revan in this series, but I'm just thinking of the first character that comes to mind from the Old Republic that became a Force ghost. But I'm sure other people will know more ancient Jedi who's transcended into the Force. Yeah, and I think getting to see that him learn from what I think of when you said that was Avatar, right? And when he goes and he talks with the other avatars and tries to gain knowledge from them.
Yeah, like what would you do,
Yeah. I think that could be interesting if you have some different Jedi, who speak into Obi-Wan, including Qui-Gon, right?
Or even the Jedi that passed away in a 66.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. I heard someone talking about him being able to feel with the Force when other Jedi are slain, kind of like Yoda was able to in Episode 3. And I feel like that weight of him waking up every morning and he can feel the grip of the Empire tighten more and more could be an interesting story. John, you were going to say something?
Just kind of like leaning into that. I'm hoping that they'll kind of explore the more like mystical side of the Force, because you got to remember, like the Jedi Order is like a monastic order, like first and foremost, and this is like nothing like groundbreaking. Like everybody agrees, like nobody likes the whole stuff with the midi-chlorians. Like we want to like see the more like mystical side of the Force. So I'm kind of hoping like with the Obi-Wan show, we'll see a little bit more of that. Like Obi-Wan's trying to lean more into the Force, maybe having some conversations with Qui-Gon Jinn. I want to see more of that, but not too much, because again, I want like that mystical side of the Force to like be preserved. So I kind of like want to see a little bit of it, but it's got to be like executed in the right way, and then when I think of honestly, I think Qui-Gon Jinn is like Mace Windu level powerful. So kind of keeping it in that kind of shade. Maybe like Obi-Wan had the intention to train Luke Skywalker, but I think maybe Obi-Wan blows it. He puts Luke in danger, and that's why Uncle Owen is like, no, like you gotta like leave all that junk at the door. Like, don't be bringing the Empire here. Don't be bringing like your Jedi nonsense here with our family. You're gonna put us in danger. Kind of like expand on that too.
Yeah, I think that's important, to make the Force magical, but don't overdo it to the point that like it feels understandable. It won't be interesting if you can fully grasp it. Anything else from you, Brent, on the Kenobi series?
Nope. I'm just ready for it to start. Give me a release date.
Come on, Disney, hurry up, man. Taking you guys forever.
One of the things I'm wondering about the series is how much of it will actually be on Tatooine. Because we know he spent his exile on Tatooine, but I feel like it'd be quite a boring series if we only get one set piece.
Okay.
I wouldn't jump around the galaxy like Solo does, but I would say getting to see some different things, and wondering how they can do that well without blowing Kenobi's cover. Any thoughts on that? Like, where would you want to see Kenobi go, or what are the things that you think he can do with the restrictions we know he has?
I would love to see him personally go back to Mandalore to, just as like the hooded, like, oh, I'm sneaking in just to, visit his not lover or whatever she was, his friend within a friend, or or however you guys want to call it, man. Because like, oh, bro, when he was like the love interest that they had, or the connection, I was like, whoo, Obi, bro, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're supposed to be the pure one, you're supposed to be the great, and you're over here like, what's up? Yeah, I think that would be great to go into that, just saying goodbye. Like, he said, wait, did he say goodbye to her? I can't remember. But just something like that. It's like, hey, like, thank you, visiting, going back to Naboo, where Qui-Gon died, just to visit the ashes of him, or I don't know if they made like a little statue or something, but like just trying to reconnect. So I think that would be a great scene for that. So yeah.
It's interesting. I know we got the arc with Yoda when he learns how to become a Force ghost, and he travels to a couple different places. I want to say Moraban and Dagobah. I might be wrong on. I know Dagobah, but I'm not sure about Moraban. I might be wrong on that. But to see him have to deal with his own trials, and I definitely think, one, I really hope we get Qui-Gon. Two, I hope we get to see Darth Vader, Hayden Christensen, but also Hayden Christensen in that role, when he's dealing with his inner demons and his sin of like what happened to Anakin. And then of course Satine cries. I'm gonna call her cries. Satine cries, you know, and Duchess Satine of Mandalore, right? And that loss. Maybe even getting to see Darth Maul a little. I know we have a scene already that is really good with the conclusion between Maul and Obi-Wan in Rebels, but either watching him have to deal with that in a spiritual way or having to, you know, face Maul again could be interesting. So we'll kind of wrap it up. We didn't get a chance to talk about Ahsoka or Andor, but no, we're excited for the series. And Grand Admiral Thrawn and the start of the rebellion.
Did he survive? Who knows? I'm just kidding.
Find
Oh
out.
gosh. Next
better,
time,
man.
Bob.
Star Wars. But we just want to remind you guys these shows are really interesting and we love to nerd out about stuff. We'll close out in a second here. Thank you guys for joining us. May the force be with you. I'm going to pray us out and then you guys have a wonderful week. Dear Heavenly Father, God, thank you, Lord, that you made us unique and to love the things that we seek. Lord, that you did not make us like droids that were all the same and walk like automatons. But Lord, you gave us unique interests cloned in your image, Lord, but individuals, one of a kinds, Lord. And sometimes we're a bad batch, but Lord, you made us so wonderful. God, I thank you that we get to rule alongside you, not as an empire, Lord, but of peace and love with our brothers and our sisters. God, I just pray that we can continue to be in your presence and your will. Lord, let the face be with us always. It's in your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Love you guys. Have a great week.
Long live the Sith.
All right. Peace out.
Next time.